We're here to talk about digital rights management in the cloud, security of streaming, important conversations on this edition of the SVG New Sponsor Spotlight. We welcome aboard EZDRM. Hi, everyone. I'm Brad Acosta, Director of Digital at Sports Video Group. Honored to be joined by Olga Kornienko, who's the COO of EZDRM, also one of its co-founders. Olga, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate seeing you.
Of course. Thank you for having me join and running this podcast, blog, vlog, whatever we're calling this. But yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, like we were saying, these are important conversations when you're talking about DRM in today's world of, all the stuff that's flying around in the media right now. So from Easy DRM's perspective, obviously, this is a company that's been around for more than 2 decades. So we're thrilled to finally have one of the experts in this field as a part of the SVG family. But for those maybe aren't familiar, what does Easy DRM specialize in, and what are some of the highlights of you guys as a company?
Sure. So as you said, we've been around since 2003.
Okay.
And we started out as a DRM as a service company. We actually coined the term DRM as a service because when we first started, it was just Windows Media DRM, and we had it as two APIs. I think we were calling it microservices at that point.
Okay.
Uh, but it has always been, and the idea behind the company has always been what the name says, easy DRM. So make it simple and keep all the hard stuff behind the scenes. Um, so we've been growing as a company recently. We are actually looking into more services that are around overall video security. As a company, genuinely believe that video security should be a strategy, and it should be a glass-to-glass strategy. And knowing that you're also looking at the content that's properly licensed is important. So we started out with DRM, and we support all the major services and all the major technologies, as well as we've recently jumped on the idea of C2PA.
Mhm.
And for those of you who may not know, C2PA is the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. And in plain old English, it's just knowing the source of content and also knowing that since the video has been published, whether or not it's been modified. So in the sports arena, knowing the fact that the game you're looking at has not been modified, the scores are legitimate and the goals have been scored the way they were, and so on and so forth. And we're also looking into two new solutions as well. One involving additional layers of security to make hacking of and trying to break into the DRM content a lot more difficult. And we're also looking into solution of um, knowing where content is playing back from and having the ability to decide whether or not this is a rogue viewing session or legitimate one, and potentially killing it on the fly. So in our understanding of what we have seen contracts or RFPs that are coming out of sports providers, people are not happy with just DRM. They
Sure.
want more, and they want to know how they can secure their content more. And we are trying to answer that question.
Well, 2025 so far, you've certainly been on the trade show circuit. You were just at Broadcast Asia. Obviously, we got the opportunity to see you at NAB show. What have been the highlights from the solutions catalog from EZDRM? What are the things that either you think sit at the top or maybe have generated the most interest from some of the people you've been meeting with?
Well, one of the products that I just mentioned that we're working on is something we're calling North Star. That is a solution that would allow content rights holders to figure out where content is playing back from
Mhm.
and where it's being delivered from, and kind of give you almost like a complete feedback loop of what your content is actually doing. And it is based on two standards that are fully accepted standards in the industry: C2PA's signing mechanism and CMCD, which is the Common Media Client Data, which is the way that the player talks to the CDN. And it's one of the standards that would allow us to complete our feedback loop with the knowing of where content is playing back from. I know it sounds kind of hoaxy and secretive at the moment and kind of sort of vague, but once we've demoed this at shows and we've demoed this at IBC first, and it got a lot of buzz, and we've also demoed it at NAB, and it is getting a lot of attention solely because it allows you to identify what your content is doing in real time. and it allows you to see that the content is being delivered from this edge to a player in this region, and you can make decisions of whether or not those are legitimate sessions. And then additionally, since we'll be working with the CDNs on this, we'd have a lot more data where we're able to compile CDN logs, player logs, and DRM logs, and have a very complete picture of what is going on with the content, which would give our customers a lot of power to make decisions in real time, to whether or not they should be able to stream this content and continue to do so, or maybe add latency to it, or maybe rickroll them, baby shark them, I don't know, add a whole bunch of ads, completely in their control, right? And we've been getting a lot of attention about this product that we're planning to launch at IBC.
Okay, very, very interesting. So, our entire audience can empathize with the fact that this is obviously it's a sensitive subjects that you guys work in when you're talking about rights management. So, not everyone wants to be speaking openly about what they're doing and how they're doing it. So, from your perspective, are there clients out there in the industry that you're working with today that you think kind of tell the story well of what you all can bring to the table for a broadcast rights holder?
Absolutely. We've been, it's interesting you say that a lot of brands just want to keep their information private. And that
Yeah.
is one of the tricky things about being vendor for some of the bigger brands, but also a security vendor for
Mhm.
brands where most brands don't want to talk about what they're doing for security. But we do
Sure.
have a number of companies that like to talk about what they're doing and how much it has helped. One of those companies is Magical, is a customer partner of ours that is working with sports TV and Portuguese Soccer League. And when they launched, they talked about the decrease in piracy that they've seen. And additionally, they're a great customer and a great partner because a different solution that we're currently also in the process of launching, which adds an extra layer of encryption onto your already existing content. They're actually actively looking forward to helping us test and proof because they see the idea behind this and they see what this technology could do, and they genuinely believe that it has really cool potential of securing the content even more, especially when it comes to sports rights, which I don't have to tell this audience how vital, expensive, and important sports rights are. When you can make a hacker's life a lot more difficult, that's always the goal. And
Hmm.
then, of course, we work with major brands like Globo that we've also talked about, which is a broadcaster, biggest broadcaster out in Brazil. And when they migrated over to us, they've migrated in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Which they were quite surprised, and we kind of thought we took forever. So, uh, but yeah, there's a lot of customers in between because we genuinely work with the globals of the world as well as small companies that just want to secure some of their content or just specific events. That's also always a possibility.
Sure. All right. Well, before we let you go, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of things. What should folks in our audience kind of maybe paying more attention to? Obviously, we're talking about really sensitive, important stuff to the future of society when we're talking about deep fakes and piracy and from our tiny little slice of sports production, it's still, obviously critical to the business as things go more and more streaming. As a well-respected thought leader on this subject, what is maybe something that folks in the audience should be paying more attention to here in 2025?
Well, I think in general, people should think about their video security approach as a strategy
Hmm.
and not panic when you think about do everything or nothing. Start somewhere.
Hmm.
In an ideal world scenario, you want security, as I said, to be glass to glass. But it doesn't mean you have to do everything right away
Sure.
because it could be intimidating, it could be scary, and so on and so forth. Um, Talk to vendors, ask questions. Find a vendor that is partnered with a lot of people, does things within standards. So if you wanted to change up, make sure you can change vendors. If you start with a vendor that you like, but then things don't go right, make sure you're not locked in. The good vendors will not lock you in.
Hmm.
Um, and then just take it one step at a time because I can recommend a lot of things. And you did mention AI, and AI is making it easier to take a piece of content that's lower quality and maybe up the quality and make it more of, I don't want to call it broadcast quality by no
Mhm.
imagination, but be able to pirate a lower lower quality piece of content and then push it to more devices and so on and so forth. So pay attention to security. And also, there's, I guess, a theory in the industry that security is very expensive. Talk to vendors, get prices, ask questions about concurrency of licenses, ask questions about, oh my God, I don't know, how they handle key exchanges and key ingests. And if you have, we can always answer questions. We can always give you a recommendation of what to ask other vendors as you're comparing them, because it's not just the price at the end of the day.
Mhm.
The cheapest vendor may have gotchas and hidden things in contracts that you may not think of until you're in the middle of a live event and things start to happen and bills start to come in. So, but start somewhere. I guess my take for this is start somewhere and don't just think that you need to do everything or nothing. Um, because first step gets you to the next step and so on.
Yeah, I think we're way past the time of waiting and seeing what happens. I mean, it's here, all this stuff that you're talking about. So, doing something, certainly a valuable takeaway. Well, Olga, we really appreciate you taking the time being with us today, and we're really excited to have EZDRM as part of the SVG family. We look forward to working with you over the next year.
Thank you very much. And thank you for time to interview me. I appreciate that.
Of course, yeah, to learn more about EZDRM, you can visit EZDRM.com. She's Olga Kornienko. She's the CEO or COO and co-founder of the company. We appreciate you taking the time. And for more videos, including other interviews with some of the industry's leading technology vendors, just head on over to our website at sportsvideo.org. We'll talk to you next time.